Hello, this will be part one of my 10-part guide on how to play chess at a beginner level. Because I am not going to say that I am a god, but I will say that I am pretty decent at this game. So I will show you all the fundamentals on how to play chess after knowing how to move all the basic pieces and all the basic fundamentals as in castling and en passant. Uh, but first on, what we're going to do here is we are going to show, in this video, we're going to show very basic openings and why these openings are played and why they are so basic. The first opening is a very simple e4, e5 open. The purpose of playing e4 is to control the center. Controlling the center is a very, very powerful thing to do in a chess game because think about it like this. Most pieces have to move throughout the center and have the ability to move throughout the center. So if you have power over the center and can manipulate where the pieces can go, you already have an advantage before the game has really started. So there are actually multiple openings that can accomplish this. One opening is the e4, e5 opening. Another opening can be the d4, d5 opening, accomplishing the same control of the center. But another opening can, well, openings that I've seen, those are the two most common openings that I advise beginners to play around with. The D opening protects itself with the queen, while the E opening requires a bit more support. So we're going to start off in this video at least with a very basic four knights open that will show you what will basically happen in a normal game. This is the most common opening you'll ever see, opening E, and it's very efficient. So it'll open E4, E5. The next move you will play is knight to f3. The reason that you play knight to f3 is because you are pressuring black's e5 pawn, which is currently controlling the center. If you are able to kill that pawn, you will gain complete control over the center, and it is like you are practically God. It's pretty good. In response to this, black commonly plays knight to c6. The reason that black plays knight to c6 is because it is a way to defend the e5 pawn in the most efficient way. Other ways to defend this pawn can be uh, d6. The main issue with d6 is that when playing d6, it blocks off your black squared bishop, and that you never want to block off pieces early on, especially your kingside pieces, because you want to develop them for an early castle. Other forms of defense some may also want to play is f6. The issue with playing f6 is because it is fake defense. You're you're defending the pawn, quote unquote, but it does not help you much if you keep that as your only defender for too long. That is a completely different opening that I will post an entirely different video of by itself, but playing f6, not the best way to respond to knight to f3. So black will respond to with knight c6, and white will play here bishop to c4. Now again, there are multiple ways to open up a chess game. This is not the only way you can open up a game, but this is the most common way and widely accepted in low to mid-level play, the the best opening that you can probably do, and the most controlled open. So in response to the reason that you play c4 is to mainly allow white to castle next turn. So since it's a video for beginners, how you castle would be 1, 2, and then the rook goes to the space where the king said 1. The same thing happens on white side, on queen side, I mean, I'm sorry. If you go 1, 2, the rook will go to where the king said 1. So you can castle on both sides. I do not recommend castling on the queen side, but again, that is for its own video. We're just going to continue with this very basic opening on why this opening is played. So in response to c4, black commonly plays knight to f6. The reason that black plays knight to f6 is because it slows down white's castle, because in order for white, if white castles now, they end up giving up this pawn to the knight on f6. So what white will do here is they will defend the pawn. How you defend a pawn? You can do it in one of two ways. You can play d3, which is the least common way to do it, but it is also a very good way, which I will probably start practicing doing, because it opens up your black squared bishop, and it accomplishes the task of protecting the pawn on e4. Another thing that you can also do is you can play c3. What c3 accomplishes is it also defends the pawn on e4, and it also develops out your knight. If you want to move out your knight later on, it also allows you to do that. So it is a way to develop your knight, and while it being efficient and not developing it just to develop it. How black responds to this is bishop will play c5. The reason that bishop plays c5 is, again, it allows black to castle, and this entire game right now is mirrored. Uh, it respond with castle, castle, and then there are a countless amount of variations after this point. The most common variation that I see is d3 and d6, and then it's however you want to play out the game at this point. This is basically the end of this opening, though. Just remember, whenever you're doing an opening, the goal of an opening is to develop your pieces, take control of the center, and take any early advantages that you probably see that you can. So yeah, that'll be the end of this video. The next video is we'll show some common counters, quote unquote, to this type of opening, even though this opening is very safe, so there are actually very little counters to it. But we'll go over different ways that you can play this opening.